Hello guys, ladies, if you're out there, let me know that you're single, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, welcome. We are just getting started on a daily analysis. I wanted to show you the latest info coming up on my old strategy that I've been working on. This will be moved over onto a Linux box that I built on Friday night. And basically, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Just getting into the chat stream right now. All right, so let's get started. What you're looking at is obviously a console app that I've written in Java, in Python. In there, you will find new charts. So today is January 7th. Time is 5:10. I'm actually going to be doing a course, so I'm going to be making this lickety split. I have a set of reports I can go through and charts. So these are the hot pairs right now: CVC, BTC, DNT, BTC, hot BTC, QKC, BTC, and TRX, BTC. Now, this, as I said, is my work. This strategy is not nowhere close to being as profitable, but this will be part of my quant analytics system once I move everything over to that Linux box that I mentioned. So I'm going to open up a couple of charts here and show you what's currently going on as we speak. All the data comes from Binance. So this is currently hourly moves right now, and what we've got here is number 4, DNT BTC, which is moving pretty good. Number 8, which is QKC BTC, moving as well. Now that is the crypto volume right now as we speak on what is in the markets. Also, let me just see the other open there. I'm just going to open up another crypto filter. No, it's been a while since I've looked at these. Oh, right, I got it. So this is a bar chart on the hourly profit on what is moving right now. So people say, oh, crypto's dead. When you see these kind of moves, these are big. DNT, Ethereum up 22.3%. LTC Ethereum up 16.69%. LTC BTC up 15.25%. And then so on and so forth. So it's moving pretty good right now. And one of the ways I look at the markets is by assessing the current risk in the market. So, for instance, I have, let me just see if it is up to date. I just started this today. So, no. Move it up. Okay, so we have this document here called Crypto Risk, and that was just generated 12 minutes ago. So what this does, it currently tells you what the current risk is, as I like to call it. It's equivalent of a risk on, risk off sort of document. And I've got multiple scripts that run to show where everything's at. And one way I can do is if I look at the other strategy right now, here's the current moves. This is generate every minute, every 5 minutes maybe. So right now everything is down. Now what I just showed you in the charts, so here's the fast movers: Binance Coin, Tether, Maker. So even though the hourly charts will say that they look good, I'm going to be showing you a very important factor that you need to know. Okay, so right here we're looking at the risk assessment of the big boys. We're looking at BTC, Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Ethereum Classic, and Ethereum. And right now it does this risk. So out of 5, only 1 is medium strength. There's nothing that's aggressive. So when you say anemic, what we're talking about is the rate of return uh, each hour for the last number of hours. You can see here, and it gives a measurement based upon the average rate of return. So two of those five I just listed are negative. Two of the five are anemic, meaning between the moves of 0 to 0.5% moves. Medium is at 0.5 to 1%. Anything over 1% I consider aggressive. So right now, the majority of them are just bouncing around at either 0 or being negative. So that's important to note on, though even those charts look good, it's probably looking, it's fairly choppy in the markets right now. Now again, this is from Binance. So all those charts I just showed you kind of need to be questioned. Now I do generate this chart, this Word document right here. This is, as I said, the old strategy, and I only really use it for analysis only. I don't do any pricing on it or anything. I use the other, more obviously profitable strategy. Here's the document for the shorts. Now I can also short, do longs on trend, longs on the risk I showed. I can also do it based upon volume, and that's the longs. But because we're dealing with Binance, they only allow longs. But I do include a short document when you're on, let's say, Bitfinex that allows shorting. So I'm sure this can be still relevant for an exchange like Bitfinex. So let me just see what's going on here. Okay, so let me just go back to my directory, and I will open up that crypto short document. So these are the ones that the old system, the old strategy thought would be worthwhile to list as short. So as this thing comes up, this is a big file. This can be a couple hundred pages, this Word document. So here it is. So we only have 4 pairs that are listed as shorts. And of course, because the markets, as I said, are so negative, we can double confirm that again through this right here. These ones, there's only 3 out of the top 20 that are positive, and they're just barely positive. I showed you also that other Word document that shows, the level of the big crypto pairs are not moving at all. They're not profitable. So let me just pull up that document. Okay, so here's the shorting document that it would recommend if you were to short. These are shorting opportunities if you were to do it. So this is sorted in the order. So right now, Bitcoin Cash against Ethereum is recommended. QTUM, BCH, and BTG against Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin Gold. So here's the overall trend since last year. So it's been really flat, but my system can pick up those trades pretty good. Again, though, for the last year, it's been a slight downward trend. The Fibonacci it's undervalued. Now, it's really important to understand if you're going to trade, as I do, on a minute-by-minute basis, you can make good money. I haven't even checked the system to see how it's doing. Let me just do that. Of course, this is not a bot that I sell or release or anything. People have been asking about that. I don't do that. I'm not a stupid moron that just puts stuff out just for fun. So just give me a second here. Okay, so this is where let's see the current position. So last time I checked was this morning. It was just barely positive. So it's been running since last night, and I do everything in cycles of 24 hours. So even though the markets have been getting killed, we are running at a rate of change at 1.46. That is not bad, but that's pretty good because we're meeting that daily 1% goal move that we always want. We can do that 7 days a week, every day of the year, which I've been doing since mid-December. We've been getting absolutely killer returns daily, 10, 15. The highest I had intraday is 17%. So that has been doing pretty good. Now, the other big winner is the 85% win ratio, which is pretty strong. It does average around at least 80%. Anything less than 80% or even 75%, I'll consider a bad day, but it's usually pretty strong. But today the volumes are not as strong. But here you can see we've put on 39 positions. And just to note, I will be actually introducing a new service for the notifications of these positions. So they will be out there. So you can see here, we have a few negative positions here. 33, 35, which is NEO and XMR. Now, XMR, it's rare that will go negative, but the other losers are 19 and 11. Let's see, let's just look at 19 first. So 19 is now Litecoin, okay? So Litecoin, according to that chart that I just showed you, was doing pretty good. This is still volatile, and I can still show you the whipsaws and the fast negative movers, which is the same as a whipsaw. Now, the other two losers from last night included, let's see, we wanted position 11 and this one, position 11 and position 9. Okay, so those are all the losers over the last 24 hours or close to it. Again, so BNB was a loser, and 9 ZEC, which is zero cash, was also a loser as well. Everything else, we did well. Everything else was a winner, which is good. So knowing that, we can go back to the older strategy and try to look at what's going on here. So I showed you the, let me just still continue going through the document here. So what I just showed you are the winners. These are what is considered the losers or the short opportunities if you have the ability to short. You can clearly see here Bitcash, Ethereum. There is the occasional day where you can make good money with Bitcoin Cash, but overall you can see these fat tails here. Majority of the time you will lose. Actually, no. Yeah, again, it's always even, but the fat tails, that big risk is right here when it goes negative on an hourly basis. Again here, these patterns are pretty important. Here we can find, we have a bullish bat, which is kind of odd because then we also have two bats, or sorry, harmonics. We've got a bullish and a bearish. Now, I'll be able to identify which ones work through studies I'll be setting up with MotiveWave. It has that capability. So again, we have two bullish. Oh, here's another bearish. Yeah, so that's a bearish pattern here. So you have two bearish patterns. Looks like there is a automated head and shoulders. So here, based upon the patterns, here's the trend. Yeah, and it's clearly down. So yeah, it's not looking bad, good, and the trend here is just out of whack. These numbers here are important that I can use for potential exits and entries. And then here we break it down into, this is a 6-month view. So as I said, that's probably the time when Bitcoin Cash would have been a buying opportunity, which it was, and it did pretty good. Here's a 90-day view. As you can see, we had some amazing up moves. So there was some opportunity there, but when you're watching it on, this is a 30-day view. So again, I will see, so late November was a good time to buy in for the Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum. So we know that Bitcoin Cash is not that great right now because for both markets, Ethereum and Bitcoin, they are extremely negative. Here you can see the sell signal, so that's a shorting downtrend. So it looks like Bitcoin Cash is in some form a free fall on the negative side. And see, there's clearly more negative moves with Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash against Ethereum. So Bitcoin Cash against Ethereum would be the better move, but there was, as I showed you earlier, an opportunity there. So here, when you look at the harmonics again, clearly just getting slaughtered here with this automated. The candle patterns, bullish, not looking good. Those kind of moves. So these are really helpful. You can clearly see the averages are looking down as well. That's a 6-month view. But again, there was some buying opportunity there late November. Let's see here. Now let's move into QTOM Ethereum. My system never sees this. One thing we can always check are two things that's very critical: standard deviation and the volume. Obviously, my system does measure for volume. Sorry, not just volume, but volatility. One way to do that is if you go to the beginning of this report, what you'll find here is the. Let's go to the beginning here. So here is the group volatility mean. Okay, so if I pull that up and just put it somewhere. Yeah, I'll put it. So I'm going to use that as a reference. So this is the mean of the 4 pairs for the group. This is volatility. So I can compare that volatility with QTOM. So let's see. Okay, right here. So here's the average for that particular pair. Okay. So here you can see that the volatility, standard deviation is higher than the group standard deviation, which means that this is more volatile. Okay, that's why my system does not really pick it up. It doesn't really trade it at all because it's just too volatile, meaning too many negative whipsaws. And so, yeah, be aware of that as a hint if you ever get access to the analytics service. Here, the signals, again, it's just too volatile. You can just see, even if you get a buy signal, the sell signal just comes right away. It's too short, very steep negative trend. This thing, I would say, is definitely going out of style. It's, I will predict by the end of this year there's going to be a lot of cryptocurrency pairs removed out of the entire subset, where I wouldn't be surprised that a big exchange like Binance is probably going to do a massive purge of all these smaller, more volatile cryptocurrencies because they're just not really performing. So again, we have a quite a bit more negative moves on this, with the negative returns on this particular pair over the last year. Here we got a bearish harmonic. Once again, once we start seeing these trends, and this is what I call an automated head and shoulder. This is generated, this is a definite classic shorting opportunity. So it breaks that trend, which is essentially the neckline, and it's just going south. So here, sometimes you get these conflicting signals here. Sometimes the bearish versus the bullish. But that's why I put all these different combinations where we get more bears than bullish signals. So it's pretty evident to me that these are strong shorting opportunities. Now, if the market with the risk was positive for the cryptocurrency space, there were more strong momentum with the big ones, where all the other small altcoins would be doing better. You would definitely see the long documents getting generated, but in this case they're not. So when they're only this size of 36,000K, there's nothing. They're not getting generated. But when they get to this size, then yeah, it's generating data. So the only generating data it has right now using this particular strategy is the shorts, which I'm showing you. right now. Okay, so you see these negative moves. Again, this is flat. If you're in Binance, congratulations, you're doing all right. But again, always look to the RSI and the momentum. I don't make any references to rate of change or anything, but it is clearly getting squeezed, and you always hear about the squeeze plays. I mean, it's going to go down. I mean, it might get a pop here and there, but my system won't catch it because it's too volatile, as I showed you. So this is, if you want to trade it, go ahead. As a short, it's definitely a short. So when you look at Bitcoin gold against Bitcoin, let me just see here how we compare against the group volatility. This one is less volatile, but we'll see that in the next bit. So here, this has not been issued on the markets for very long. Again, another very poorly performing crypto pair, but the odd thing is it's above trend, but it's still historically pretty steep on a downward trend. And it's just been battered ever since its initial float or ICO or whatever they call it. It's done okay, and then just typical altcoin just goes nowhere and just goes pretty well gets ignored. But the distributions, I don't know. I would say it's more negative from the daily returns. The bearish, again, this one's a Gartley for the harmonics. Head and shoulders, yet again. Again, steep declines, not looking good. Here we having, what we got? Bullish, bullish, bearish. I still wouldn't touch this one. It's fairly, just by looking, it's been there is some opportunity here, and that's since the last 6 months, but I wouldn't touch it, and I'll show you why in a minute. See, here's an example of why you don't touch it, because yes, it will go up and then it gets a steep climb, a steep drop. So if you put on any positions long here, you'll do okay, and if you don't time it right, you'll get clobbered, and you'll be probably going to lose money just on this one down, negative down bar. Again, here's the 30-day view of it. And you can see here, usually here's what we see all the time. This is a 30-day view. Right in here, people are piling in. These guys, this one that gets this and this, are watching things like candlesticks, harmonics that I'm showing you to get into these up moves. And usually you can just look at the RSI. The RSI moves up, hits the peak, and at some point, and I've watched it for on a minute-by-minute basis, that volume eventually just declines, and it declines real hard, as you can see here with this red volume bar. And also the RSI just drops. So the momentum went up quite a bit, and it just went back to zero. And that is that. Okay, so let's look at some other files here, because I've shown you some of the charts. This is not a lot of good stock or picks right now in the crypto space. Now, a lot of these, well, all of them are virtually shorts, but we can't short. So let's see, what can I show you? Let's see if there's a watch list. Here we go. Okay, this one I wanted to show you, this particular file is the whipsaws. These are the whipsaws. If you were to put on a position a couple of minutes, an hour before these whipsaws, you would have lost money. That's why I track these. This particular strategy logs these whipsaws for this exact reason, to know if there is a position potential to be put on the watch list. We also have to make a comparison over the last 3-6 hours to see if it's worth taking on that position for that particular pair, because we're going to have a negative whipsaw. So I do log those. So these pairs right now are the ones that if I took on a position, so as I said, today is January 7th, these are the times that these whipsaws came along that was on the watch list. And you can clearly see which ones would have taken you out and lost money. Now, everyone goes, well, how do I get a winning ratio of this? Where is it? Here's the winning ratio. So this is the winning ratio right here of 85%. That's why the whipsaw, this winning ratio is exactly as strong as it always is, because we log the whipsaws, and it's one thing you do not want to take on those pairs that have fast moving whipsaws against your position, so we don't even bother to trade. And another way of knowing that is the risk that I showed you earlier at the beginning that says all the big pairs are going negative, so don't take on those positions. So again, let me just show you those. Where's the app that I need right here? So these are the ones to stay away from. And again, these get listed on my analytics service that I'll be reintroducing multiple times, but finally we'll get this straight, because I've got, as I said, we got a box here, a Linux box that's been prepared for the sole purpose to be used for this instead of running it on this current Mac, and it's going to run three other strategies. Again, this particular strategy I would only recommend for analysis only, but again, we'll be doing the same thing with the Forex and CFDs for commodity space as well, or major indices as well, using the what do you call indices, market indices from all over the place. So that's where things sit so far. Just see what other files I can show you, what I call the goodie box of stuff. Okay, so there's a lot of charts and stuff I can show you. We get, let's see here. Okay, so one thing I can also show you is this file, the ranking that the system does of the entire subset of the available pairs out there in the wonderful world of Binance. It's a big spreadsheet. I log all this stuff for the fun of it, not really, but it's for analytical purposes. So let me just get back to it and let the file get loaded up. It's a spreadsheet. So right here, I've shown this multiple times a few months ago. What we track here is how many pairs am I tracking. Oh, so these are only on my watch list, so we only have 46 pairs, which is pretty good. So we do analysis on a daily time frame. I forgot to mention the Fibonacci's. You can use Fibonacci's for many different reasons. I use Fibonacci for value, if it's worth buying, but that's just one factor I use. We also are looking for any buy signals. Here we have some sell signals. Here we have BCH, which was generated, QTUM, which was generated, BTG, and BCH again. So those are all your sell signals, exact same ones I've shown you. This doesn't really work. The trend is your friend. This can be very helpful. Obviously, some people may look for the strongest trend. Volume is a big factor, so I can easily sort these to see which ones are the strongest ones, and I've already done that by showing you the different charts. Sorry, the different bar charts and pie charts. Let me just see. We got BNG here. So I showed you this one, the hourly moves, and the volume. This one as well I showed earlier at the beginning of this stream. So that is where this comes from, is from the volume generated. Momentum is probably one of the most important ways to measure if you want to take on a trade. It's probably the most important. There's certain factors I look for before I even consider taking on a position. That's why I'm able to get past the argument of Python's too slow, because I use different factors to just quickly eliminate potential trades. And momentum is definitely one of them. Standard deviation is another, but obviously I showed you that earlier in the Word document for volatility. Harmonic patterns, we get a variety if they're bullish or bearish. We've shown that. Same with the different bullish or bearish patterns that we're looking for. Now, There's always the statistical as well. I don't get too much into this, but I just really look for, to be honest, I just look for slope is a big one. R values, some people, and P value people may find find that relevant. Closing price, that's the latest at the time it's generated. This file is generated. Different trend results. Same with momentum as well. So those are the sort of things that I use throughout the system, as I explained earlier in this video. So right now, there's only 4 particular short opportunities right now. Everything else is just dead in the water, if you ask me. And there is just no longing opportunities out there right now. So yeah, there's nothing really out there to go, this excites me. Let me just see if there's anything new. Yeah, there's been no moves, only 4 pairs that are moving slightly positive. But looking at the results here of this P&L, the rate of change, I'm pretty happy with it. 1.46 daily move, close to 24 hours, and the 85% win ratio. I've already talked about that. So this is looking good, and I'm pretty happy with it. Let me just see if we can do another update, if there's a new position. So far there's only been 39 positions been put on over the last 24 hours. And this can take a little bit of time. Yeah, no new positions. So that's pretty well it. Only shorting opportunities if you can short on Bitfinex. Else, there's nothing out there right now on Binance. Sorry to let you know, but hey, I'm saving you some time. All right, hopefully this will help you out, and have a good day.